Head coach Johnny Dawkins joins us now. Coach, thanks so much. Your sixth season at UCF. Last year, you end on this run. What has the offseason been like as you guys prepare for 2021-22 season?
Well, it's been a good offseason for us. As you know, coming off the COVID year, we didn't have an opportunity to have a preseason. We didn't have a summer. And so we got off to a really late start last year. And so coming into this year, we're excited to have a good spring and a good summer and a good early fall. And that's just what we've gotten. Our guys have worked really hard. They've been very competitive. And I think we're getting better.
Hey, Coach, this is former washed-up UCF player Mike O'Donnell. Great to see you. I wanted to ask you, though, might be your deepest team since you've come here at UCF. And too early to compare different programs that you've had at UCF, but how are you able to manage finding minutes for everybody, given the fact that you've got a lot of talent and you've got to find those pieces, put them together from a chemistry standpoint this season?
Well, that's big for us. We talk about, a few things that we have to have in our program is great work ethic, number one. Two is chemistry, as you just mentioned, and the third is leadership. And so as we're going through looking at our players and trying to define roles for them, we're just trying to see who fits well with who. The guys have all, making it challenging for us. They're making it hard for us, which is a good thing because the competition is so good, and that's going to make us a better team overall. But right now, we do have maybe the deepest team that I've coached here, and I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the opportunities that it presents for these players. I'm excited the opportunity it presents for our program. And so we're just looking forward to getting started, and we'll find, and put guys in the proper places as we move forward. But the main thing is right now is to continue to play with good depth, play with good energy, and keep playing for each other.
Hey, Coach Dawkins, Brooke Weisbrod. You played for Coach K, you coached with him, and there was a moment where a few years ago I was interviewing Zion Williamson, and he said in the huddle, Coach K said, "I don't coach losers, so go out there and get us a win." And it literally shifted the energy of the game. And I'm wondering if there was a moment for you as a player or an assistant coach that you can look back to, and maybe one that you still use now, that Coach K-ism, that when you left that huddle, you immediately felt that shift of energy or the game changed.
Well, I think the biggest thing that Coach does is he just believes in you. And I've tried to instill that in all of our players. Whenever they step foot on the court, no matter who we're playing against, I'm always, trying to instill to them that I believe that we're always going to be the best team to step foot on the court. And I think that's something that I took from him. No matter what moment we were in, he always had the same mindset. He always had the same look on his face. It was that look of confidence, that look of belief. And that's something I think he shared with all of us that played for him as well as coached with him.
Coach, we ran a piece talking about your championship mindset. You talked about how things have shifted since you've been there. It was first considered a football school, and now it's becoming also a basketball school. How have you seen the city of Orlando, the fans of UCF, embrace your team throughout the years?
They've really embraced us. I've been so excited being here and watching, our support continue to grow. And that's largely because of our players. I think they get out in the community. Not only do they play for us, but they get out in the community active. They're seen out. And that's important. And, we want to be considered as Orlando's hometown team. And the way you do that is by throwing yourself into not just what you do on game night, but it's by being out there, being available to people, being in the community, your civic responsibilities, all the things that go along with being a good citizen in your town. And I think our guys have done a great job of doing that by getting involved. And I think this helped our entire area just feel, more at ease with who we are and what we're trying to accomplish.
Coach Dawkins, we now have some questions from the media via Zoom. Tom, what's our first question?
Thanks, Chris. Our first question is from Eric Lopez at the Black and Gold Banneret.
Coach, Brandon Mayhem returns. He was honored second team all-conference just announced. Just talk about him returning and what you've seen from him that he here for another year.
Well, excited to have Brandon back for another year. He's been terrific in practice, just being aggressive and playing his game. And when he does that, he's pretty special out there on the floor. I think it's an honor that's well deserved for him. And excited to, see what he does for us this season. But he's come with a great mindset since returning, and it's happy to see the growth. When a player's been with you more than 1 year, more than a couple years, you start to see the growth of the relationships, the chemistry with his teammates, and so all those things have moved up to a higher level, with Brandon this season.
Our next question is from Jason Beatty with the Orlando Sentinel.
Hey, Johnny, I'm looking over the preseason poll from the coaches. You guys were picked 5th. I don't know if the American can be a 5-team bid league, in the tournament, but what do you think you have to do to finish higher than that? And do you think 5th is a fair position for your team?
Well, let me start off by saying, first of all, I think that we, at UCF, look at ourselves as always trying to compete for championships. I'm sure like all of these coaches in this league, it's a very competitive league from top to bottom. I think we're all shooting for the same thing. Talking about how many bids that we could possibly get, I could see us getting at least 5 bids out of our conference, to be quite frank. I mean, you have terrific coaches, a lot of talent in this conference, and I could easily see you getting that many teams in, especially this season with the depth that we have that I know is returning on all of these teams. So it's going to be a great year in the American Conference, and I'm excited. I'm sure all these other coaches and teams are as well.
Our next question will be from Leo Torres from NSM Today.
Hey, Coach, can you talk a little bit about Isaiah Adams' development so far this season?
You know what? Isaiah's developing well. Like I said, just think last year, he didn't have a spring or summer or even much of a fall with us last year. And so his development was kind of stymied. When players that come in as a freshman last year and you can't come on campus, and we all understand why. I mean, COVID was real and it's tough. And so, but those young freshmen, this is like their first freshman summer. This is the first summer that they had in college. So he's growing a lot. I think he's really understanding what it takes to be, a high-level Division I player. And he's really embraced that. The one thing he always brings is a sense of confidence and air about him that he can accomplish anything he wants to on the court. So I've really watched him grow. He's getting stronger. His game is becoming a little more well-rounded. So I'm excited to see what he can do this upcoming season.
And let's go to a follow-up from Eric Lopez.
Coach, you always play a tough non-conference schedule, but this year is to the next level. You've got Michigan coming in, Oklahoma's coming into your building. You go to Auburn. You've got Florida State and Sunrise. Just talk about how you've been able to build these schedules, and especially having marquee teams coming to your building.
Well, it's important to try to get marquee teams coming here. Of course, our players, they all want to play against teams of that caliber. And so we try our best to make sure we find opponents that want to compete against us, whether it's here or on the road. And we're fortunate to land some, quality opponents again this year. The main thing is, as I said when I took the job here, we're always going to try to have the toughest preseason schedule we can find. I think that's the only way you can prepare yourself for a conference like ours is to play against great conference, great competition in the preseason. And so we try to do that every year. And this year, there's really been no exception. As you said, if anything, we've dialed it up some more. But that's because we have a lot of guys returning, of course, this season, a lot of veteran players. And those are the type of games they really want to be in. They want to compete against these type of teams and kind of see where they stand. And I want to give those guys in our program an opportunity to do that.
Hey, Coach Mike O'Donnell here. Last question for you. Depth of the backcourt, individually talented on paper, really good, as you know. Most of the media knows. But what's your expectations for this backcourt, particularly, Darius and Brandon?
Well, for both Darius and Brandon, we need them to lead our team. I mean, they both are terrific talents, on the ball or off the ball. But the thing I need them to do is to really lead. There won't be anybody on the court that has more experience than those two players. As 2 fifth-year seniors returning, their experiences as you're going to get in college basketball, and we need them to make sure every night they come out and they set a tone. They set a tone first by how hard they practice, how hard they play, and then by being a great voice in the locker room for us because, we go as they go, to be quite frank. And every really good team I had or every mediocre team I had, they've gone the way of our upperclassmen, and those two are upperclassmen. And so we're going to put some of that pressure on their shoulders to lead us. And I think they're welcoming that. I can tell by how we've practiced. that's something that they want, and they're excited to be in that position.
Thank you so much, Coach Dawkins. Looking forward to watching you guys open the season on November 10th.
All right. Thanks, guys. You guys take care.
Coach Dawkins, always a joy to get to spend some time with. We're going to take a look now. Darren Green Jr., let's hop inside the film room with him.
Welcome to the film room. I'm Kennedy Collins, and today I'm here with Darren Green Jr. Darren, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Now we're going to sit and break down some of your film right now, so let's go ahead and start rolling.
Let's do it.
So the biggest thing that we're seeing right now is that you're moving your feet, you're staying active. So how important is it to stay active to make sure that your defender's not staying on you?
It's very important to stay active, especially as a shooter. If I just stand still, I'm easy to guard, so I got to keep moving and, wear the defense out, make them chase me.
And then it's more than just staying around the perimeter and the baseline, you're also cutting. So what does that do for keeping your man off you?
That opens up the floor for whoever has the ball. Sometimes I'll cut, and, since I'm a shooter, I'll draw two people on me and it'll open up my teammates.
And then you're also getting those screens set for you. So how are you communicating with your team to make sure that you're getting those switches?
Whatever the play is, normally I'm setting a screen, so, I have to set a good screen in order to get a good screen and get open.
So now we've talked about what you do off the ball, but let's talk about what you do with the ball in your hands. So right here we're seeing that you guys are pushing in transition. So what are you seeing right now from this play?
I kind of knew I was going to get it. Me and Darius made eye contact, and I know when I'm going to get it when I see what the defense does, because as you see number 4 in the back, I saw him, he put his head under the basket and just left me. And I knew Darius saw me.
From there, it's just money.
Yeah.
And then you're setting your feet really quickly. So what type of drills do you do in practice to make sure that you're getting in that shooting position fast?
I'll do like shake-ups from the corner to the wing, from the wing to the corner. And, just going game speed when you work out, that helps as well. I'll do transition shots and I'll do all my game shots and just do it in my workout.
Thank you so much, Darren, for sitting down with me, and we're looking forward to seeing you this season.
Thank you.
For both of you, Mike, you first. You've been in that film room, maybe that exact same film room. I'm not sure if they had the nice leather chairs back in the day, but take us through into what a film session is like with Coach.
Well, first, I was sitting in old wicker chairs back in the day, but that's a great question because my freshman and sophomore year in college, I treated film study as punishments. I hated seeing myself make mistakes. Sometimes those film sessions can get intense. Brooke will tell you. When I learned to treat film study as skill development, it totally changed my game for the better, in that on the court, instead of just seeing a play and reacting to it, you're actually seeing the play develop because you can feel the film prep in your head. And that's, we talk about being one pass ahead, one play ahead. That comes from film study. And when I embraced that and treated it as a skill, it totally changed my game for the better.
Right, and it's not just knowing your role, it's also being to watch and understand the role of everyone else on the court. What was it like for you? A little nervous to talk about it?
So I'm an experiential learner, right? You got to put me on the court.
So you didn't do it.
I fell asleep. I swear to you, I'd sit and I would try. It's not like I fell asleep on purpose. But
and you were still on the team?
Yeah, I did all right, I'm in the Hall of Fame. That's not my style. Looking back now, I would engage more, and I would ask my coach, hey, is there a different way you can help show me things? But, yes, I hated it. It was punishment. I was bored. Put me on the court, show me what I did wrong instead, because when you sit me down in a dark room and put film on, it's Z's all the way.
Maybe if I would have fallen asleep in film sessions, I could have been in the Hall of
There you
Fame.
go.
That's maybe was the missing link
I'm not
for
proud
me.
of it.
That was a mic drop moment.
That's what it is.
I covered Pat Summitt for a long time, and one thing that I thought was cool was she had her players come up with the film, and they had to break it down for everyone else instead of Coach sitting there. So maybe that would have been tactic.
That'd have been a better idea.
To keep you awake, or maybe a little bit more coffee. Joining us now, Darius Perry, 5th-year senior. Thanks so much for joining us. Have you ever fallen asleep during film study?
Nah, I'm too scared to do that.
Yeah, I don't think Coach Dawkins would be okay with that. When you know that you get your 5th year because of COVID, was it a hard decision to come back? And if not, what did you want to improve upon this year?
For me, it was kind of exciting just to know that I'd be able to play with my guys again. I only got 1 year here, transferring from Louisville, so that would have been my last year, my only year to be able to play with them. And they're such a special group of guys, that would have been kind of devastating for me. So for me, it was exciting. And then knowing that we didn't live up to the expectations that we felt like we should have last year, it was really good to be able to come back and do that again.
Darius, hey, Brooke Weisbrod in the studio. You have a solid core back, and as you mentioned, you had that first year to run through the league. What venue do you enjoy playing at most on the road? And is there a place you haven't won yet that you certainly hope to this year?
I think there's a couple places we didn't win at last year that we need to win at this year for sure. I'm not going to say any names right now. I just know that.
Mike knows.
But as far as everything else, I think we have really high expectations for ourselves. So coming back this year with the same core, same group of guys, and then you got the new guys added in, I think only the sky's the limit right now.
Darius, Mike O'Donnell in studio here. You guys have a lot of individual talent, yourself, Brandon, Isaiah, all conference members. I'm curious, with this team, with so much talent, a lot of depth, who would you say is the glue for you guys this season? Who's that one guy that is the glue for this team?
I think we have a couple glue guys, honestly. Sean's one for me. CJ is one for me. We have Mbake. He's a new guy, but definitely a glue guy to me. We got a couple guys that just know their role really well, play really well, and then do a good job of keeping guys together at all times on the court. So those 2-3 people that probably stick out the most for me.
Darius, we have some questions from the media via Zoom. I'll let Tom take those away.
Thanks, Chris. Our first question will be from Jason Beatty with the Orlando Sentinel.
Darius, we were just talking with Coach Dawkins. He mentioned in his 6 years at UCF, his team seemed to, go the direction of his senior leaders, whether a good season or a bad season, always seems to go the way of his leaders and his seniors on the team. He mentioned you and Brandon Mayhem specifically. Do you like that, the fact that he's asking you to lead and, he kind of puts the success of the team on you too?
I enjoy challenges, and I know Brandon does as well. But in the school I was at before, I wasn't asked to do that. I wasn't asked to lead anybody or make anybody follow me. And I know for a fact Brandon wasn't as well. So I think for both of us, it's just a challenge. We enjoy challenges. So we're going to come in and do what we feel like we got to do to push everybody, make everybody better every single day, and then also lead these guys in the right direction.
All right, our next question will be from Leo Torres with NSM Today.
And Darius, for you guys, so what's that one thing in practice that Coach Dawkins is just continually stressing for you guys? Like no matter what, like this is the one thing you guys just have to make sure you take care of.
Discipline and effort. I think those are the two biggest things for us, just because they cut down on a lot of things. The discipline you have and can cut down on turnovers, execution, all that type stuff. And then the effort takes care of everything else. The defensive end, the offensive end, your pace, how hard you play, how scrappy you are. How much you want to fight, would it be the deciding factor whether you win games or not. So those are the two biggest things he's been on us about all summer, all year.
All right, and we'll have a question from Eric Lopez at Black and Gold Banneret.
Darius, last season you all won 5 of your last 6, really played your best basketball. Did you feel that you guys kind of learned each other and found each other there towards the end of that year, and that's one of the reasons why you wanted to come back, because really you can carry that over to this season now that you kind of have that chemistry?
Yeah, for sure. I think, like I said, last year was my first year here. It was a lot of guys' first year here as far as the freshmen and stuff like that. And then also we had COVID going on. We had a lot of stoppage and things like that, kind of preventing us from being the team that we felt like we could be. So I think this year, just coming back, everybody coming back, the core coming back, we had a really good chance of doing something special.
Thank you so much, Darius Perry. Looking forward to watching you guys start the season here in a couple weeks.
Yes, ma'am. Thank y'all. Thank y'all.